Throughout the vast reaches of our cosmos, many species have flourished over the eons. The Norfari, with their unmatched skills in agriculture and the arts. The Zondaks, a race of gentle green avian creatures, with an innate ability to interact with and feel the emotions of their planet's flora and fauna. The Talek, a short and robust people with an unrivaled talent in craftsmanship. These are but a few of the dozens of species that populate the vast universe. A diverse gathering with a plethora of shapes and forms constitutes all intelligent life as we know it. And although this amalgamation of diversity is apparent, there is but one thing that all species have in common: their origin story. All those aforementioned peoples, as well as my own, the Lordi, were originally designed by creators, our gods, benevolent entities who saw fit to bless us with as many resources and aid as we needed, all to guide us through a peaceful transition in our evolutionary process. My people, as well as all the other races, did not need to fret over facing hardships. For example, we, the Lordi, are a tall, slender people that evolved on a medium-gravity world. Our Creator, in his wisdom and abundance of mercy, gave us strong, resilient bodies in order to withstand the crushing forces of our planet. As a matter of fact, so strong were our bodies that gravity was never an issue after our progenitors got accustomed. We pride ourselves not only in our physical prowess, but also in our mental gifts, both merits handed down to us as our birthrights. All other life has its own gifts, bestowed upon them by their respective charitable gods. Wherever you tend to look, the same pattern emerged. Benevolent demiurges, blessed creations, guided and accelerated evolution, no hardship, and at the end, first contact with one another and peaceful coexistence. Even though the icy backdrop of space looked bleak, reality seemed, in contrast, to be a very pleasant experience for us all. With all our needs taken care of, we sought to make as many friends as we could, and to explore the cosmos. We felt it was our only mission. Then one day, we received a transmission from one of our exploration vessels that was monitoring an isolated solar system in a never-before-accessed part of the galaxy. We intercepted the signal as part of routine procedure. We thought that it was another message that would read, "No intelligent life in this sector either." We couldn't have been more wrong. What instead came through were panicked, incomprehensible mutters, and an atmosphere of terror. The only person who was not speaking in gibberish was the ship's captain. Based on his tone, he was in disbelief at what he had just witnessed. He spoke of a maddened people who relished in causing chaos and hurting one another. "We had only monitored them for a very brief duration of time," he spoke, but his voice carried emotional undertones unfamiliar to us. The only thing that kept him going was his duty, his obligation to inform us of the madness that lurked far out there. "This race," he said, "is vile and fundamentally abhorrent beyond all description. We hoped that maybe they would cease this senseless bloodlust of theirs, but we were wrong. We just gained access to their networks as a way to study their historic records. What we witnessed challenged our most basic of understandings. It shattered our belief that all things in this existence are, in their core, comprised of an essence of benevolent nature. However, they are the blasphemous antithesis. In its rich lore of violence, there stood a pinnacle. They called themselves the Kabari. The footage that you are about to receive will undoubtedly scar you. I beg of you to tread with caution. As the footage was being prepared, he gave us the coordinates of what he described as hell, and issued one warning. They are not like us. Before we could answer back or download the nightmarish proofs, we received some blurry images of this hell. What we saw chilled us to our core. Strange beings, grotesque, freakish monsters, populated that hellish blue and green marble. The captain was right. They were not like us. Before we could ask for more information, we realized the self-destruct sequence had been activated by one of the crew members who had gone insane. We had never before experienced such an incident. All other transmissions had been casual conversations with other vessels, routine and uneventful. That is why we felt no need to keep this conversation private. But before we realized the public had gained access to the transmissions, it was too late. Panic spread. Needless to say, the mass hysteria that followed would take hours to quell. People spoke of the end times, of the anathema god, and of an obligation to destroy her and her wicked offspring.